Whatever happened to good old rock and roll?
If you were to try and give rock and roll another name, you might call it Chuck Berry, right?
Darling, darling, stand by me. Country boy named Johnny B. Good. Oh, Johnny, go, go, go.
And the message is, hail, hail, rock and roll, right on.
We are about to visit a truly full circle moment in John Lennon's career, and the fact that the Beatles cover of rock and roll music is on their Beatles for Sale album is quite serendipitous. You'll want to stick around for when we circle back. Thank you very much. We are about to immerse ourselves in the world of side one of John Lennon's sixth studio album titled Rock and Roll, and kicking off the night, we've got track one, Be-Bop-A-Lula. Right away, I've been struck by so many components of this song at once. I mean, all of the effects that are going on that are placed over the vocals, how it feels very echoey and shaky and bouncy, and there is this ragtime syncopated kind of feel that definitely adds to those effects, and it's very percussive, right? I feel like maybe that is a direct result of the echoey bounce, but I feel like also an intentional vocal delivery has added to that, and I love how we end out the passage with the seventh that just disrupted all of the chaos.
I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
Okay, hear me out. I just had an absolute epiphany. So the culmination of the different facets of this song sort of remind me of Michael Jackson and his style of delivery, but more so the direction of the musicality and the chords remind me of his song, The Way You Make Me Feel. Hopefully you'll hear it as we keep listening. Quite the idiosyncratic approach to the usage of the reverb and echo, and how that communicated with the vocal and morphed it, and then further enhanced and changed the relationship to the instrumentation as a whole. Very outlandish and bold and bright. However, we were met with some balance in the form of the direction of the musicality and the chord progressions. It felt like that's where we entered a land of normalcy and at times monotony, even though it was broken up by
that very vibrant and radiant seventh.
However, that still felt very secure and reaffirming to us as the listener, because vocally he was able to mimic that downward sense, like we were falling off the passage at the ends of the choruses.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
At number 2 tonight, we have Stand By Me. I definitely have a huge soft spot for this song, so I'm going to try to curb my expectations for this song, but it's going to be a little hard.
Call the police.
Different.
And the land is dark, is the only light we'll see. Oh, I won't be afraid. Stand by me. Oh, nah, stand by me.
Okay.
Stand by me. The sky, they will look upon you, crumble to the sea.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit thrown by the way that this song began, not in a bad way necessarily, just in an unexpected way. Because, you know, you get so used to a song and you know it inside and out and you want to hear it that way. But I really appreciate John Lennon's approach to this song and the way that he tackled it. And it feels, in some regards, a bit more stripped and raw and acoustic than the normal one. But then it also feels a little heavier and darker and more rock and roll. It feels like that sweet, soft romance has been spiked a little bit. I believe it was a pivotal game changer when the instrumentation grew. It felt like we were letting go of some of the thinness and bulking up the sound a bit, which I think flatters this song very much.
I won't cry. I won't cry too long. If you stay, stay by me,
I love that little he gave. Even through this artistic and rock and roll approach, I still got a little choked up, if I'm being honest. The chord sequencing does a lot of heavy lifting here. I feel like the ability to take something and alter it enough to the point where you've transformed a piece of art people know and love into one that they feel like they've never heard before and they're experiencing all over again for the first time is in a way its own form of magic, right? At number 3, we have Medley, Rip It Up / Ready Teddy.
well, it's Saturday night and I just got paid. I just started the night, baby, I'm feeling fine. Gonna rip it up, ball it up, gonna rock it up. And
I find the playfulness of whenever the music or the instruments let up and then come back tumbling in, I find that so exciting and inviting and fun.
check on down to the Union Hall and the girl just jump and I'll have a ball. Come to the corner, pick up a sweet pie, she's a rock and roll, baby, she's the ready to rock and roll.
Short and sweet and so rock and roll. I feel like anytime horns or saxophones are included, they add this really rich texture that furthers the plot of whatever was already going on through chord progressions or through the other instrumentation. It just adds this vibrancy that radiates throughout the entire piece. Hoy, nuestro número 4 se llama You Can't Catch Me. I am catching a bit of a case of deja vu with this one. However, I also feel like I'm stepping into uncharted territory at the same time. It felt like a lot of the rock and roll sounds that we were getting were falling under a sort of repetition. It felt like we started just hearing the same thing over and over again. However, this one feels like it deviates from what we've already established and reminds me a bit of Come Together, right? Like the it's a bit of the pulled back nature in the rhythm, right? It's a little bit slower and a similar percussive feel. It felt like we had one of those moments that was gonna let up on the music. However, we had a sustained note pull us all the way to when the music kept going again. That was very tasteful and very unique. be wrong about this, but I believe that I detected some hints of perhaps a mellotron, or I'm not entirely sure what it was, but it sounded like twinkles or like an ephemeral glimmer of hope. Something really interesting about this entire project, this album thus far, is that we can really see through these covers the influences of rock on John Lennon. And then we can also see the flip side of it. We can see John Lennon's influences on these songs, whether it be the way he's changed them or the way that he has changed rock as a whole after this. Like, this is what rock sounded like pre-Beatles. It had a certain sound that's, you know, it transcends time. It's timeless, it's classic. Further highlighting his genius on how he changed the genre, or, you know, allowed the genre to split and create his very own genre through the Beatles and his solo work. At number 5, we have Ain't That a Shame.
You made me cry.
Ooh.
My heart is
I love when there's a battle of tug of war going on with rhythm. I think it's a lot of fun. It's this back and forth to this drawn out writ. It's a little bit slowed down, and then, you know, we go back to a faster tempo, and then it's kind of this back and forth ping pong match. And it's a call and response in itself, even though it's not vocal. Ooh, yes.
I'm so happy.
although I'll cry. Me cry.
And speaking of call and response, it feels like we do have a sort of interaction and back and forth between the vocals and the chords there. You said dun 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 dun. That back and forth is very fun and playful, and it adds to everything that's going on. And we also cannot ignore the keys and their prominence in this song, because it really does add to this very classical, vibrant vibe. We got that really rich texture come through again, because saxophones or horns add so much personality to any piece that they're incorporated into. And ain't it a shame that we had so much fun and so little shame in Ain't That a Shame? I mean, the lyrics were sad, you know, it really was a sad time for him, but, you know, a musician is great when you can jam out to their tears that fall like rain.
Well, yes.
At number 6, and second to last, Do You Want to Dance? This one is very sweet and romantic, and it feels like it has this sort of enchanting air about it. And the vocals feel very, very subdued. It feels very buried into the track underneath a lot of these other instruments that feel very prominent and forward, allowing this to have this acoustic feel, but also a bit tropical, the way that it's leaning into the percussion. There on Do You Wanna Dance, on Do You Wanna Dance, there, that note was unexpected. That is probably one of the first times in this entire side where I've felt that, where I felt like, oh, that went in a direction I wasn't expecting, and I am pleasantly surprised. Ooh, beautiful. Great background vocal. So the reason I was so caught off guard by the melody on "Do You Wanna Dance" is because even though my ear did expect it to go down, it didn't expect it to go down as little as it did. It's just a whole step down. It goes, do you wanna dance? Goes back up on dance. I feel like he successfully blended themes of acoustic and experimental music and allowed those two to merge very seamlessly to create a peaceful romantic vibe.
Beautiful. The most beautiful. What better place to dream than in Paris?
Closing out the night, we have Sweet Little 16, which I gotta admit is slightly alarming. Right off the bat, the piano pulled in the sound the way that I'm used to the percussion or the drums doing, and something in me has changed due to that. I am not the same. It feels like there's this sort of lightness and levity in the sound. It feels like that it's very, very open and bright. It feels like there's a lot of air and movement. There's also a really, really exciting motif that interjects its way in between the vocals. Absolutely cannot wait to get into a side two, but before then, we've got a lot more things coming up. Love you so very much. And now of the utmost importance to thank our magnificent and absolutely stunning SuperThanks Heroes. You guys are the absolute best. I love you with all of my heart, and here's a little something for you. Marissa Martinez, Beatles for sale, AP, Kevin Corkill, Swedish Jeff and Myers. Oh, how I admire you with all my heart. They say an apple a day is supposed to keep doctors far, far, far away. But what if all I need happens to be you? 'Cause you're the remedy. Maybe you're the apple of my eye. The way you twinkle in this light. Oh, nothing compares to how you shine. You mean everything, and everything doesn't cover the half of it. Thank you. Remember how I mentioned at the beginning of the video that the album Beatles for Sale would later be relevant? Now is later.
It is that time.
Because I want to thank our highlighted special ultimate Super Thanks hero, our rock and roll Super Thanks hero of the week, Beatles for Sale. Here's to you, not only for having the very best name on all of YouTube, and I think we can all agree as Beatlemaniacs, but just for being you and for being so amazing and loving, and I truly, deeply mean every single word that you're about to hear. Beatles for sale, it's like a fairy tale, the way kindness fits on you, like a glass slipper shoe. Beatles for sale, it is a fairy tale, one that never grows stale, and without fail this rose keeps its petals. Beatles for sale. If I'm being honest, sometimes I get all tangled and frozen, 'cause my heart's been banged and broken. But you bring the darkness out of you, and the sun can come shining through. You lift the curse, and everything that's worse, push it far away. Never, never land, never, never to stay. Beatles for sale, this might be real life, but you make it feel like a fairy tale. Thank you for being a part of why my wildest dreams and craziest wishes come to life and become reality. I send you all of my love and all of my wishes that all of the wonder and goodness of the world follow you out wherever you go. Have fun and take it easy.